Hi Adams, this is Miss Kovarik and we are on Unit 6, Lesson 11, and today we're going to talk about personal narrative writing, which we actually did way back in Unit 1 when we wrote our own personal narrative, so we're going to revisit that. And we're also going to talk about how Esperanza's character has grown throughout the vignettes. So we have two vocab words. The first one is marched, and that is a verb, and that is to walk fast and with purpose. Your second word is trudged, and this is kind of the opposite. It means walking with really heavy steps, really slowly and heavy. And we are going to read Vignette 8 today, which is called A House of My Own. Not a flat, not an apartment in back, not a man's house, not a daddy's, a house all my own, with my porch and my pillow and my pretty purple petunias, my books and my stories, my two shoes waiting beside the bed, nobody to shake a stick at, nobody's garbage to pick up after, only a house, quiet as snow, a space for myself to go, clean as paper before the poem. All right, so that was super duper short. I want to point out a few things before we read Vignette 9. She's been talking about this whole time her aspiration has been to get out of Mango Street, to have her own dream house that she described in the very first vignette, and this is where she describes that dream. She also uses some alliteration here, so repeating that P sound, pillow, pretty purple petunias. So that is a poetry term that we talked about. She also uses a simile here, which is right here. She says, only a house quiet as snow. So just a couple figurative devices that she used in that vignette that are important. And Vignette 9 is called Mango Says Goodbye Sometimes. I like to tell stories. I tell them inside my head. I tell them after the mailman says, here's your mail, he says. I make a story for my life, for each step my brown shoe takes. I say, and so she trudged up the wooden stairs, her sad brown shoes taking her to the house she never liked. I like to tell stories. I am going to tell you a story about a girl who didn't want to belong. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis, on the 3rd floor, and before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Paulina, but what I remember most is Mango Street, sad red house, the house I belong but do not belong to. I put it down on paper, and then the ghost does not ache so much. I write it down, and Mango says goodbye sometimes. She does not hold me with both arms. She sets me free. One day I will pack my bags of books and paper. One day I will say goodbye to Mango. I am too strong for her to keep me here forever. One day I will go away. Friends and neighbors will say, what happened to that Esperanza? Where did she go with all those books and paper? Why did she march so far away? They will not know I have gone away to come back, for the ones I left behind, for the ones who cannot out. All right, so listen to that again if you need to. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack. There's a part in this vignette that should remind you of another vignette, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. And she also references other things that happen. So right here, she will go back for the ones she left behind, for the ones who cannot. That was another reference to the 3 sisters. So she's continuing to repeat a lot of things that happened in the previous vignettes, and this one just kind of ties it all together nicely in a nice end. So here's the first page of Vignette 1. We're going to reread this one more time, and then you're going to type, what you thought was similar from here. So we just read Vignette 9. We're going to read vignette 1. Look for something that is similar, something that is repeated. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the 3rd floor, and before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Paulina, and before that, I can't remember. But what I remember most is moving a lot. Each time it seemed there'd be one more of us. By the time we got to Mango Street, we were 6. Mama, Papa, Carlos, Kiki, my sister Nenny, and me. The house on Mango Street is ours. We don't have to pay rent to anybody or share the yard with the people downstairs. Or be careful not to make too much noise, and there isn't a landlord banging on the ceiling with a broom. But even so, it's not the house we thought we'd get. All right, so those 2 paragraphs I just read, what was similar in vignette 9? What did you see repeated? Number 2, we talked a lot about a certain shape in Esperanza's life. And we also just talked about how she's continuing to repeat things. She's going back and revisiting them over and over and over again. So what was the shape that she referred to as? Was it a circle, an arrow, a square, or a figure 8? What does Esperanza want in the first vignette? What is her aspiration? What is her dream? Does Esperanza still want that, or did her vision change? We're going to read this passage from vignette 1, and you're going to say, who did she meet? How did she make her feel? And why did she want to achieve her dream? So again, I'm going to reread this part from vignette 1. Who did she meet? How did that person make her feel? And why does she have this dream? Why does she want to achieve her dream so badly? What does she get out of it? Once, when we were living on Loomis, a nun from my school passed by and saw me playing out front. The laundromat downstairs had been boarded up because it had been robbed 2 days before, and the owner had painted on the wood, "Yes, we're open," so as not to lose business. "Where do you live?" she asked. "There," I said, pointing to the 3rd floor. "You live there?" "There." I had to look to where she pointed, the 3rd floor. The paint peeling, wooden bars Papa had nailed on the windows so we wouldn't fall out. "You live there?" The way she said it made me feel like nothing. "There. I lived there," I nodded. I knew then I had to have a real house, one I could point to, but this isn't it. The house on Mango Street isn't it. For the time being, Mama says. Temporary, says Papa, but I know how those things go. So again, who did she meet? How did that person make her feel? And why did she want to achieve her dream? Okay, we're going to go on to vignettes 4 and 5. I'm going to read that in a second. You're going to tell me, who did she meet for the first time in this vignette? And at the beginning, Esperanza wanted a different life and she was unhappy with hers. Does she still feel this way? And then for the last one, you're going to give me a quote that supports this one. So find a quote that tells me that yes, she still needs a different life, she's still unhappy with hers, or no, she doesn't feel that way anymore, and this is why. All right, let's reread it. Vignette 4. If you give me $5, I will be your friend forever. That's what the little one tells me. $5 is cheap since I don't have any friends except Kathy, who is only my friend till Tuesday. $5, $5. She is trying to get someone to chip in so they can buy a bicycle from this kid named Tito. They already have $10 and all they need is 5 more. Only $5, she says. Don't talk to them, says Kathy. Can't you see they smell like a broom? But I like them. Their clothes are crooked and old. They are wearing shiny Sunday shoes without socks. It makes their bald ankles all red, but I like them. Especially the big one, who laughs with all her teeth. I like her even though she lets the little one do all the talking. $5, the little one says, only 5. Kathy is tugging my arm, and I know whatever I do next will make her mad forever. Wait a minute, I say, and run inside to get the $5. I have $3 saved, and I take 2 of Nenny's. She's not home, but I'm sure she'll be glad when she finds out we own a bike. When I get back, Kathy is gone like I knew she would be. But I don't care. I have 2 new friends and a bike, too. My name is Lucy, the big one says. This here is Rachel, my sister. I'm her sister, says Rachel. Who are you? And I wish my name was Cassandra or Alexis or Maritza, anything but Esperanza. But when I tell them my name, they don't laugh. We come from Texas, Lucy says and grins. Her was born here, but I'm Texas. You mean she, I say. No, I'm from Texas, and doesn't get it. This bike is 3-way ours, says Rachel, who was thinking ahead already. Mine today, Lucy's tomorrow, and yours the day after. But everybody wants to ride it today because the bike is new, so we decide to take turns after tomorrow. Today it belongs to all of us. I don't tell them about Nenny just yet. It's too complicated. Especially since Rachel almost put out Lucy's eye about who was going to get to ride it first. But finally we agreed to ride it together. Why not? Because Lucy has long legs, she pedals. I sit on the back seat and Rachel is skinny enough to get on the handlebars, which makes the bike all wobbly, as if the wheels are spaghetti. But after a bit, you get used to it. We ride faster and faster past my house, sad and red and crumbly in places, past Mr. Benny's grocery on the corner, and down the avenue, which is dangerous. Laundromat, junk store, drugstore, windows and cars and more cars, and around the block, back to Mango. People on the bus wave. A very fat lady crossing the street says, You sure got quite a load there. Rachel shouts, You got quite a load there too. She is very sassy. Down Mango Street we go. Rachel, Lucy, me, our new bicycle, laughing the crooked ride back. All right, so again, who did she meet for the first time? Is she still unhappy with her life? Does she still want a different life? And then find evidence from the text to support that. All right, let's head over to skills. So we're going to look at vignette 5. Let's read that first. Those who don't know any better come into our neighborhood scared. They think we're dangerous. They think we will attack them with shiny knives. They are stupid people who are lost and got here by mistake. But we aren't afraid. We know the guy with the crooked eye is Davy the baby's brother. And the tall one next to him in the straw brim, that's Rosa's Eddie V. And the big one that looks like a dumb grown man, he's Fat Boy, though he's not fat anymore, nor a boy. All brown, all around, we are safe. But watch us drive into a neighborhood of another color and our knees go shakety shake, and our car windows get rolled up tight and our eyes look straight. Yeah, that is how it goes and goes. All right, so number 1, how did people feel outside of Esperanza's community when they drove through Mango Street? And then find me a quote that supports that. Number 3, what does Esperanza learn in this vignette about how other people see her and how she sees other people? Does she learn that people only judge those less fortunate than them? She learns not to trust anyone. She learns that people are often uncomfortable with something different. Or she learns not to listen to people outside of her neighborhood. Okay, vignette 6. You're going to answer, how does Esperanza feel about the old man in the beginning of vignette 6? What does Esperanza realize at the end of vignette 6? And then the last one, you're going to think about all of those vignettes that we just went over. So the word empathy means to understand and share feelings of others. So we're going to think about how Esperanza feels about other people's feelings and how that has changed from vignette 1 all the way to vignette 9. So you're going to give me your opinion. Do you think that her empathy grows? Does she care more about other people? Does it shrink? Does she care less about other people? Or does it stay the same? So again, we're thinking about how Esperanza feels about other people, how she treats other people, how she shares the feelings of other people. Did it grow, shrink, or stay the same? You're going to give me some examples from the text to explain your answer. So you can tell me, what did she do in vignette 1? What did she do in vignette 9? And you're going to write at least 3 sentences for that one. All right? And I'm going to finish reading vignette 6, and then we are all done for today. There is a junk store. An old man owns it. We bought a used refrigerator from him once, and Carlos sold a box of magazines for $1. The store is small, with just a dirty window for light. He doesn't turn the lights on unless you got money to buy things with. So in the dark, we look and see all kinds of things, me and Nenny. Tables with their feet upside down and rows of refrigerators with round corners and couches that spin dust in the air when you punch them. And 100 TVs that don't work, probably. Everything is on top of everything. So the whole store has skinny aisles to walk through. You can get lost easy. The owner, he is a black man who doesn't talk much. And sometimes, if you didn't know better, you could be in there a long time before your eyes notice a pair of gold glasses floating in the dark. Nenny, who thinks she is smart and talks to any old man, asks lots of questions. Me, I never said nothing to him except once when I bought the Statue of Liberty for $0.10. But Nenny, I hear her asking one time, how's this here? And this man says, this is a music box. And I turn around quick, thinking he means a pretty box with flowers painted on it, with a ballerina inside. Only there's nothing like that where this old man is pointing. Just a wood box that's old and got a big brass record in it with holes. Then he starts it up and all sorts of things start happening. It's like all of a sudden he let go 1,000,000 moths all over the dusty furniture and swan neck shadows in our bones. It's like drops of water, or like marimbas, only with a funny little plucked sound to it, like you were running your fingers across the teeth of a metal comb. And then I don't know why, but I have to turn around and pretend I don't care about the box, so Nenny won't see how stupid I am. But Nenny, who is stupider, already is asking how much, and I can see her fingers going for the quarters in her pants pocket. This, the old man says, shutting the lid, this ain't for sale. All right, so again, make sure you're going back to reading so you can look at the last 2 vignettes. Look at where is she talking about other people? Sorry, not this one, up here. Where is she talking about other people? Does she talk about how she cares about them? Are other people important to her here? So using vignette 8 and 9, how has she changed? Does she care more? Does she care less? Or has it stayed the same? And I'm going to go ahead and put this back into your skills so you can refer to the text right in that same form. All right, that was a long lesson today. Thanks for hanging in with me, guys, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye, Adams.